Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is a very flawed game, but not unsalvageable. Here's how I would fix the 10 biggest issues in the game. So number 1 is one a lot of people talk about, and it's the lack of drama. Like, yeah, it exists in this game. Like people get into fights, they can have divorces, but it just feels like there's a lot less drama compared to the 3DS version. And then when the fights do happen, they pretty much play out the same exact way every time. I haven't been playing this game much recently, but especially early on when I was playing every day, I saw like 3 or 4 fights total. So the way I would fix this is add more personality types, like maybe like a villain personality type whose job is to just instigate or get into fights with people, and also just make it so the drama will feel different. So it's not just them throwing things at each other, that it feels like there's more to it. Like maybe drama can involve even more than 2 people, but just make it seem like everyone doesn't have to be singing Kumbaya the entire time. Like there could actually be some more drama here. I think it just makes for a more interesting game, and I think it's something almost everyone wants. The only time I've ever seen someone say they want less drama is saying how they don't want to see Mii's fight because it upsets them. Like that's really the only argument I've seen against it. So definitely feel like it would make the game better. Now, real quick, if you like this video so far, consider subscribing as I'm trying to reach 85,000 subs, and I also make a lot of Tomodachi Life videos you might enjoy. Now, the next issue I want to talk about is repetition, and this goes for a lot of things. Like this isn't just dialogue or dreams or mini games. Like this is all part of that. Like if you've played this game for a week, you've probably seen about every dialogue option, every mini game, every dream, and you can say that the 3DS version was repetitive too. Like it was. A lot of people, I feel, kind of forget that, but that was a 3DS game in 2014. This is a Switch game in 2026 released for $60. Like I don't think it's unreasonable to expect there to be just like a little more variety here. Like it's gotten to a point where literally a week or 2 after I was playing, I was just skipping every single interaction because it was all stuff I've seen before. It was all exactly the same as something before. I feel like it would be really easy to just add a lot more. Like it's not like they need voice actors or anything. Like it's the robotic text-to-speech voice. So it's surprising that there wasn't a lot more, especially since this game was supposedly in development for so long. But anyway, that's just dialogue. Like mini games and stuff, there's only a few of them and they get very boring very fast. Another thing, like they could just add more simple mini games in to just try and vary it up a little bit. Doesn't need to be anything crazy, but when it gets to a point where you just don't want to do the games anymore after such a short amount of time, I think the game is just asking for more to be added to it. Especially when these games are just very simple. Like you're not going to be able to play them that many times without getting bored. And dreams, that one I have the least issue with. I think dreams is probably the most variety of. They're just kind of something like to play around with. It's not like a central part of the game. So definitely what I have the least amount of issue with. Now, next up is the lack of locations. I've talked about this a lot, and it's something that I was really disappointed with when we found out more information about this game. Like the 3DS version, you have the concert hall, the cafe, the Ferris wheel, the fountain, the park, all these different places. And a lot of them didn't come back into Living the Dream. Like, yeah, we got the Ferris wheel, we got a restaurant, we kind of got a fountain. Like, it's not really its own, like, location. Like, it's just something you put in the world. But I guess it counts close enough. But what I mean by location is, like, a place where specific stuff will happen. It's cool that the Miis can go anywhere. Like, it's not like they're limited to certain places like the 3DS version. But it was cool in the 3DS version. Like, you could see specific stuff happen in the cafe or the Ferris wheel. You could go to the concert hall and make a song. Really, besides, like, the photo studio, which was also in the 3DS version, it's not like going to any of these locations, like, really changes anything. Like yeah, there's Mii News, I forgot to mention that. But it just made the island feel more alive, and it's something that's really lacking here. Like, there's an literally infinite amount of things they can add. And I know someone's probably going to say, well, you can create your own building, so you could literally have anything. And in terms of design, sure. But first of all, it's not easy to design an entire building. Like, I don't think people realize how much work goes into this. And second, that's just aesthetics. Like, it's not like it actually does anything. It's not like if you build a baseball stadium, the Miis will play baseball there. It's literally just going to be there for aesthetics only. And I think it really sucks. I think losing stuff from the original, especially the concert hall, just was a really big blow for this game, and not having it meaningfully replaced. Like, someone commented on one of my videos once and said, were you really just expecting everything from the 3DS version here? Like, you had unrealistic expectations? And I was like, is that really an unrealistic expectation? Like, the 3DS Tomodachi Life wasn't a huge game to begin with. And I was hoping this would kind of build off of all that, like take what was great about the original Tomodachi Life and then maybe expand it here. And even if stuff was removed, like maybe they didn't have certain locations, have stuff to replace it, which just wasn't the case here. So yes, I do think it's perfectly reasonable to want more content from the locations, to have it more varied, so there's just more going on here. And then kind of tying into this, the next one I want to talk about is the lack of events. So one of the best things about the 3DS Tomodachi Life was that there would be certain events at different times. Like, there'd be a rap battle at a certain time at the fountain, there'd be Tomodachi Quest at certain times, there'd be the barbecue, there'd be a bunch of stuff like that. But Living the Dream doesn't really have that. The only thing it kind of has is like the markets that are limited to certain times. It has Mii News, but that's it. It's not like if they go to a cafe at 6 p.m. that there's gonna be like some special karaoke night or anything like that. Like there are some random events, like you can see like me like having a conversation or something, but that's not really an event in the same way. Like I want it to feel like a living, breathing island where there's like some routine, like there's some things that are gonna be happening at certain times, at certain locations. It just really adds to the charm, and I was really disappointed to learn that that was not gonna be in this game, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I gave up on this game so quickly. Now for the fifth thing, I actually made an entire video about this if you want to check that out, but it's the lack of a real rewarding system. So I know I keep comparing this to the 3DS version because I think it's fair to compare a game to its direct predecessor, but the 3DS version, even though I think it could have been more rewarding, it's not to say it wasn't rewarding at all. Like it was fun to see like the houses build up. Like as more couples got married, they'd move into houses. Then when they had kids, you'd see them grow up over a week. You would see them then go to different islands. Like that was rewarding to see. It was cool to see your Miis go to another island and then send you a letter. Like that was just something that I really loved about the 3DS version. And again, I talked about this in my last video, but the way you get people to keep playing simulation games like over time is just to give them something to work forward to. Like try to reward them for their gameplay or reward them for playing it more. And living the dream, the only reward in it is just upgrading like what you can buy. And it's not really that satisfying, especially as it goes on where you just buy like a new bench or something, like whatever you get, or a new quirk that you could give to people. Like it's such a small thing. And I'm going to get into some of these other things because they kind of tie into other issues I want to talk about. But I've just never felt that living the dream was that rewarding, at least maybe if you're an artist, like rewarding in the sense of being able to have like full customization and design your island. Maybe that's rewarding to you. But for me, I was just kind of like, what's the point of this? Like, what am I working towards? And then tying into this, like I mentioned, is just no meaningful family system. This was something that like I thought they were going to really build on what the 3DS version did, and then that actually took a step back. So one of the reasons I thought it was going to take a step forward, because you could actually have pre-existing relationships in this game. Like when you create a Mii, you can select if they're the brother, grandparent, parent, whatever of another Mii. So I thought that was going to lead to like cool interactions. Like maybe if you introduce two characters that are brothers, they'll have specific dialogue. Maybe there could be like some sort of family tree or something. But no, like I think if they move in, like there's some dialogue I didn't even know that there was. But they act like complete strangers when they meet. Again, it's like cutscene when a child is born. Like it's not like a week for them to grow up. Like they literally just grow up and that's it. Like then I don't even know how much dialogue there is like specific to that either. And it's just like so bare bones that it's kind of like confusing to me like how bare bones it is. Like you would think like this is a major part of the game. Like when a couple has a child in this game, like that is supposed to be like the biggest goal in this game, and they do almost nothing with it. So I think this could use a complete overhaul. I don't know if it's too late at this point. It probably is. But even though I'm just kind of going out of order in this video, this is something I think is easily a top 3 issue in the game. Now, number 7, no sharing. So again, I've went over this before. I understand why there's no sharing. People create ridiculous things in this that do not need to be shared. But at the same time, like there's a lot of great things that people have made, a lot of really cool creations that people have made. The fact you can only share it locally just really sucks. Like I've seen so many great things I would love to add to my island, things that would make the customization a lot better. Specific Miis I would love to have that I just don't have the patience or art skills to actually make myself. So again, I understand that Nintendo can't just have uncensored sharing, but what if they had something where people can submit things like for approval? Like Nintendo just checks it out, makes sure that it's not inappropriate, and then people are free to add it to their island. Because the 3DS version, you had like the QR codes where you could add specific Miis. But again, in the 3DS version, like there wasn't that much customization. Like it was pretty easy to recreate any Mii that you saw. But here, there's people creating just ridiculous things, like ridiculous in a good way. It's not something that a lot of people are going to take the time to do because it's not easy to make some of these. So just abandoning a huge thing that could have really helped this game. I really hope Nintendo does something to fix this. Now, next one is something that I don't see talked about as much, and it's giving Miis more agency. So what do I mean by that? Miis kind of just do whatever you say. Like if you try to introduce Miis, like yes, like sometimes they won't hit it off, they won't be friends, but I'd like to see more Miis like ask you about stuff instead of you just trying to force a friendship. Like in the 3DS version, you would have a Mii say, I really like this person. Can you introduce us so we can be friends? And I don't even know if that's in this game. I haven't seen it if it is, but you kind of have to introduce Miis to be friends, which I think is fine. I think it's cool that you can try and create these friendships and relationships yourself. But I'd like to see Miis like try and meet more people. Like maybe you don't have to introduce Miis to everyone. Maybe they can introduce themselves and see if they hit it off. It would just make them seem a lot more alive rather than just waiting for your action, if that makes sense. Now, next up, no ranking system. So this is kind of like a minor thing. And yeah, there's technically a ranking system like in the credits, but for like the 30th time I'm going to say in this video, in the 3DS version, we had the rankings board. Like you could see who you checked in on the most times, who you gave the most money to, things like that. And it was a small thing. Like it wasn't anything integral to the game. It's not something that I'm crying over not being here or anything. But I'd be lying if I said that I didn't miss it a little bit. Like it was kind of cool to see like how much money you put into every single Mii, like how many times you checked in on them, who's the most popular, things like that. And they could have really built on it here. And I just don't really understand why it was removed, because it didn't even need to be its own location. It could have just been something on the menu. So simply the way I would solve this is just adding that into the menu, so you can just see like different stats about your island, just because I think that would be cool. And finally, and this is kind of tied into number 7 with no sharing, but no social features. So the only social feature this game has is the local sharing. But remember how cool the Street Pass feature was? How if you walk past someone and you had a traveler or your own me who grew up on that island at the port, like they would actually go to that person's island. Like that was so cool, and I feel like we take that for granted because it just made everything feel more connected. Like your island wasn't its own isolated place. Like there was other islands out in the world that were ran by real people, because there were. And I understand why it's not here, because you don't want someone with an inappropriate name or design going to another island. But if you had it at least with friends where you could share, or you can maybe do something with visiting their island or send a me to their island or something. Or if you can even have me's that just weren't changed, like maybe like when the child was born, not making any edits, so Nintendo knows that they're safe to go to other islands, something like that. Now, I'm not saying they have to like create a Street Pass feature again for Switch, but I think it's safe to say that Nintendo's online has at least improved a lot since 2014. So there's other ways they could get around it. So adding something like that back would at least give a lot of people more reason to go back in the game. And that is one of the things that I was disappointed most in. Now that's how I'd fix 10 of the biggest issues in Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. But let me know in the comments, what issues do you think are in this game? What would you fix? Also, be sure to subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you next time.